Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to talk to you guys for a little bit today. I don't want anybody to think that my channel has turned into, only doing beauty related products and stuff like that, even though I do have a few coming up on my channel. But I just love it when I can sit here and chat with you guys about what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling, what my thoughts are, and get a little bit of feedback from you guys. That always helps for me to put certain things into perspective. And so that's what we are going to be doing today. I was trying to see what that was. That's the window in the living room. It's been a hot minute since I've recorded right here in this spot. This was always my favorite spot to record back when I lived in this house because of the windows that let in a lot of light. It's a very cloudy, gloomy day outside. It's been raining. It's been raining for the past 2 days. I think it's supposed to rain for the next 3 or 4 days, which is exciting in itself. If you read from the title, I want to talk about my first real love, my first man, real love, and of course that's going to be my father. I haven't talked a lot about my dad on my channel because when I first started my channel, my dad was kind of absent in my life. We still talked on the phone sometimes, but he was not very responsive to phone calls or when I would reach out to him, and that made me feel a certain way. It made me feel rejected. It made me feel unloved by him. Throughout my childhood, me and my dad were very close, I think, and I say I think because I cannot remember my childhood. You guys let me know if y'all have the same issues. I don't think it's normal for me not to remember my childhood. I hear people talking about how they remember their childhood from when they were 4 years old or something like that. I do not. I don't know why. My dad and my mom divorced when me and Susan was 13 years old. I think that was what was best for them because, it just was. There were a lot of arguing and, that we could hear when we were laying in our bed at night. And, so all I really wanted, I don't know about at 13 years old, all I wanted was them to be happy. I think as a child or a young teenage girl that you always want your father around. I remember some things. I remember that when I was a teenager and, he would come around sometimes, that he was very supportive when I was having certain issues. And, I did have depression and anxiety as a teenager. And I just remember him being there. I do remember that when my husband passed away, that my dad was there. And I was, 38. So I do remember him being there. And I remember that he and I, after my husband had died, that we would go places together, and he would just come over to the house and get me out of the house. And so that, I am very grateful for him for that. And when I would, when he would go out, he loved to do karaoke, he loved to sing. And when I would just be lonely, and I didn't hardly leave the house for almost 2 years, but he would come and pretty much drag me to where they were having karaoke, and it was just a small little place, and I would listen to him sing and help him pick out his songs and encourage him. And he was, it's hard to explain my father, because he would be like there and then he would be like gone. So I'm going to show a picture of him right now. This is the one picture I found. He loved Christmas. He absolutely loved Christmas. And this is, I don't know what you guys can see, a picture of him. And that's my grandmother. That's his mother. I hope you guys can see that. But he was very handsome and sweet soul. He loved Christmas. But since we became not so close in the last, I don't even know how many years, when I found out that he had actually been put into a nursing home, it all happened so fast. He fell and hurt himself. I think he broke his hip, and so he went to the hospital and he had to have surgery, and then they put him in a nursing home. And the first time I went and seen him was horrifying to me, to see him in that condition. And he seemed to get dementia like really quick, where he didn't know who we were. And so that was very painful in itself. My oldest sister took care of him when he was in the nursing home. She done everything, and for that I feel so much regret. I mean, I did go and visit him some. I took my grandson Jackson, and he cried. I remember him crying when he saw Jackson, because it was the first time he had ever seen him besides pictures. And I just have so many regrets about not seeing him in his last few years as much as I should have. I've tried not to think about it, his death. I've tried not to look at pictures. I've tried not to let it get into my head that he's gone. And most of the time I'm successful at putting it out of my head and not thinking about it. But the last few days, it has just been overwhelming to me. And I know that my sister, my oldest sister, that had so many conversations with him while he was in the nursing home, I know that she knows why he didn't visit or call or have anything to do with our grandchildren that much, or his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren. I know that she knows the reason why. And I haven't asked her yet, and because I've been able to block everything out so easy, I guess is the reason that I just haven't wanted to know. But I want to know now why, and whatever his reason is. I know he had anxiety, and I know he had depression, but whatever his reason was for that, I want to know, and I want to forgive him for not being there. I want to put this to rest. And even though I have forgiven him, and the last time I saw him was a couple of days before he died, and I told him, Daddy, I forgive you. And what do you do when he's laying there on his deathbed and you know it, and You know, that's all you can say. You may not understand, but that's all you can say is, I forgive you. And, but I need to know what happened. I need to know why this happened. And I believe that I will be able to put closure to this situation. And it's so hard for me to talk about. It's so hard for me to think about it now, when, you know, I knew a couple, 3, 4 years ago, I could always pick up the phone and call him. And I may have felt at the time like I was being brushed off. But if he had a reason for this, I need to know what that reason was. And I think every little girl, their first relationship is with their father. And that is kind of how you really, whether you admit it or not, or it's conscious, you follow in those steps as far as meeting the man you're going to marry, or even the men you just want to hang out with, you know. I've even told Richard before that he reminds me of my dad, and he does, you know, from the really southern, I know I have a southern accent, but, you know, the really southern drawl accent, to the guitar playing. My dad played guitar, to the songs that he liked. He loved George Strait. That was one of his favorite musicians, and he sang almost every George Strait song. He loved Merle Haggard, you know, he loved all the true country legends. I just can't hardly bear to think about the good times, because it leads to so much of the unknown and so much that I do not understand. And, you know, I always felt like, how do you stop loving somebody? And that's truly how I felt. How do you stop loving your children? You know, and it's not that. I know it's not that. I know it's that he didn't stop loving us. I'm just going to have to, I know it's so hard for my sister to talk about, because she was so there every day at the nursing home, and she was so involved in doing everything that she could possibly do. And I don't know if she'll want to talk about it. I'm sure that she would. I know it's painful for her as well. But, you know, that is the absolute reason why I have this tattoo that I have on my back that says, love is pain. It is pain. To me, love is painful. I don't care who it is. If it's with a spouse that you break up with, it's painful. If it's with your children, you love your children so much that it's painful to see them go through certain things. That's painful. It's painful when you love, you know, your siblings and something happens to them, or your mother, and something happens to her. I just can't fathom the thought of losing my mom. I just can't. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know. I mean, I found the strength when my husband passed away. You know, I found the strength to go on, but it's painful. Love is painful. You know, you love somebody so much. You have so much invested in them. You have so many feelings of love towards them. And if something happens to them and they pass away, or if you break up and you never see the person again, or you know, have so much love for your children, and you know, they argue with you, or you know, it's just painful. You have so much love for your grandbabies, and yet you worry about them on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's just, it hurts. It just really truly hurts, and that makes me often wonder why we have such strong loving feelings when all it's going to do is end in pain. You know, and I know that it's wonderful to love, and I know that it's the best feeling in the world to love, but it's also the worst feeling to lose, or to know that someone you love is hurting or dying, you know. And a lot of people have asked me, how can you say, you know, that have seen my tattoo, how can you say love is pain? It just is. It just, to me, it just is. And maybe, and that's all my relationships. That's every single one of my relationships that I have. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would not trade none of my relationships with, whether it be, you know, in my own personal family, or, you know, I love you guys, but if I find out, you know, that you guys are hurting or in pain or sick or feeling a certain way, I mean, it just breaks my heart. And, you know, when you feel so deeply about things, it's such a curse to me. It's such a curse, because you don't want, you know, every day you pray that your family is safe. You pray that, you know, everyone is good, and not everybody is good. Not everybody is okay. And it hurts. I mean, it just hurts. Like, I can look at this picture right now and knowing, you know, how much that my dad loved Christmas, and just how much that he loved passing out Christmas presents, and to all his children and to all his grandchildren. And we're easy right now, you know. That's where faith comes in, is that you have to believe that he's okay, that he's not in pain anymore, that he's in a much better place. And I do believe in that. I just want proof. I want proof that he's okay. I want proof that he's okay. And that one day, you know, I will see him again. That, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people struggle with that loses somebody, is that, are they okay? You know, are they happy? Are they in a good place? You know what I mean? But I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about that today. I think I'm going to have to talk to my sister and try to find out some things that I've been holding inside of me. And it's not anything, it's not hate, it's not anything like that. It's just wondering why when we could have been so close, and he could have been so close to his grandchildren and great-grandchildren, why couldn't that happen? Why couldn't that happen in the end of his life, that he was so connected to his offsprings, you know? Maybe I need to get out of the house and, you know, put my mind on something else, or read a book, or something, or, you know, read the Bible or something. But it's painful. Is it ever painful to look at the pictures that I have, or to think about him and the memories that I've lost? that I don't have of him, and I just don't. And I don't know why, and I don't know if I even want to remember. You know, they say your brain protects you from things that you don't need to know. Is that what's going on? Is my brain protecting me from some stuff that I don't need to know? I just don't know why I don't remember my dad. But anyway, guys, I know you all, if you're my age, you've probably lost your dad or you've probably lost your mom. And so, you know, I hope you find the peace that you need and the closure that you need. And I know that we all will miss the people that we have lost that made us into the humans that we are today. You know, so if you have any stories of your dad or your mom or someone that you've lost that you were so close to, please share them down below. I would love to hear them. And so anyway, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel.